Hi, it's Melissa here with Communicate with Angels. I help spiritual seekers just like you learn to connect with your angels and find and live your unique life purpose. Now, here's a fun topic for today's video. Are you an old soul? Here's 5 ways that you can tell. So, you may have heard this term, an old soul. What does that really mean? It means someone that probably has just a little more experience here on planet Earth. Maybe they have had many lifetimes on planet Earth. And so that means that because they have more experience, they're more advanced in certain areas. It is not a greater than or lesser than thing. It really is not about judging or putting yourself on a pedestal or anyone else on a pedestal if you think they're more experienced than you are. We're all unique. We've all had very unique journeys on this planet, and let's just think about an old soul as being more experienced. You might have seen this with very young children. You know, you see an old soul in a young body, and you think, wow, how does that little kid know so much, have so much wisdom? Because they've been around the block a few times before, and I'm willing to bet that you have too. So if you're wondering if you're an old soul, here's 5 ways that you can tell, okay? 5 signs that you're an old soul. So number 1 is if you've ever been drawn to certain places or countries around the world and even felt like you've been there before. It seems so familiar. I had this with a place in London called Hampton Court Palace. I was lucky enough a few years ago to go to London a lot because both of my sisters lived there, so I would always be visiting, and I did a lot of workshops there. Love it. I'm going to be back soon if you're in the UK. I'm coming back. But every time I went to London, which I've been there about 9 or 10 times, I would go to Hampton Court Palace. I just wanted to go there every single time. And after a while, I had to think to myself, I think there is a reason why I love Hampton Court Palace so much. I had a past lifetime there. It just dawned on me one day, like a duh moment. And so it just felt so familiar. It felt comfortable. It was like, I know that I'd been there before. And I actually started recognizing some people that were there with me in that lifetime, one of them being my sister. Okay, so here's another sign that you might be an old soul. If you've ever experienced that love at first sight, and it doesn't have to be a romantic kind of love. Often that's the most noticeable. But you might have had this with other types of relationships too, where you're just drawn to somebody. You know you have an affinity. You feel like you already know this person, even though you just met. And oftentimes you get a sense that there's something that you can do together. Just even be friends and share a relationship in that way. Or maybe it's even more that you have work to do together. You're here to, help spread your mission in the world, and you just have that knowing and familiarity. And if it is that love at first sight and a romantic love, I've had this a couple times in my life, and it just feels like being swept off your feet. It's just this passion because it's reigniting a relationship that you've had in the past and all those feelings and emotions that you had in a past lifetime. Another sign that you're an old soul is if some areas of life come really easily to you, but you kind of don't have any interest in it. So you may have something like that where you can do it without thinking about it, but it's not really that much fun. And that's because you've done it before. You've already mastered that area of life on planet Earth, and it's not anything to do with your purpose for this lifetime. But you can do it if you need to, and you can draw on all those past experiences from previous lifetimes when you need it. So one of these for me is actually mathematics. I had an impression of a past lifetime from maybe ancient Greece, where I was a young male and I was an apprentice to a mathematician. And I saw myself working with abacuses and, the version of calculators way back at that time in history. And I realized that in this lifetime, when I was in school and I didn't have any choice, I had to go to math class, I was good at it. It came easily and naturally. And even when I was a teacher, teaching math came very easily to me. But I didn't really have that much interest in it. I was just doing it because I had to, but I had all of that experience to draw from so I could get a good grade in math, which was very convenient, right? But maybe you have something like that for you. Sign number 4 that you're an old soul is you can avoid getting involved in games or gossip or conflict. You may have had experiences where you see somebody going through something. Maybe they're having an argument with a friend, or maybe they're complaining about something or bitching about something. And you just observe this behavior and you just remain really, really detached. And you go, why is that person even going there? Like, why do they even have to get involved in that right now? And that is because you have already mastered what they're going through. You've done that before. And so you're so beyond that particular spiritual lesson that you just look at that behavior and you go, that's really odd. I want you to be really careful of not judging other people for being where they're at. Because again, this is not a greater than or a lesser than thing. It's just different experiences. But know that you don't have to get involved in drama if it's something that's just not a part of your state of consciousness anymore. Don't even engage in it. Just go the other way, okay? And sign number 5 that you might be an old soul is if you have a sincere interest and desire in learning and growing spiritually, and you really strongly desire to fulfill your life purpose. You are an old soul if you're attracted to spiritual growth. And so it's pretty much a given that if you found this video, you are an old soul, okay? Because you probably just wouldn't even be watching this if you weren't. And again, it's okay, it's not a judgment, but just acknowledge for you, just for you, the experience you already have, what you've already put together for yourself spiritually, all the gifts and talents that you've mastered over many, many lifetimes. And don't think that you're not good enough or accept any judgments that anyone else says, because you are an old soul and you have a lot put together for yourself, and other people need to hear your wisdom. So don't be afraid to share it. Share what you know and go out there and just give suggestions. Don't tell people what to do, but share your wisdom when it feels right to do so. Okay, so 5 signs that you're an old soul. Kind of a fun topic, but you have a lot of experience in this lifetime for sure. So if you're interested in learning more, going deeper, I invite you to my website, communicatewithangels.com, where I have a free resource for you, the 3 steps to connect with your angels. Please comment below which one of these 5 signs of being an old soul resonates with you the most. What stood out to you? How do you know that you're an old soul? I'd look forward to reading those comments. And please subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can stay updated with these videos that I share with you every Wednesday. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.